What is the defining moment in a relationship when everything changes and there's no turning back?
One day, while wasting time on social media, like we all do, let's be honest, I came across a post that made me think a lot. It was from a couples therapist, and it said something like this. When one person in a relationship starts showing contempt for the other, it's practically a sign that things are beyond repair. Contempt. That word hit me hard, because it's something that goes beyond just being angry or frustrated. It's when you start looking at the other person as if you're ready to throw in the towel. That idea stuck with me, because even though I didn't feel we were at that point, I realized that no one is exempt from it. So I talked to my wife about it. I told her what I had read, and we both realized it was important. We kind of made an unofficial agreement. In our relationship, contempt will have no place. If something bothers us or feels off, we talk about it before it turns into a huge issue. I won't lie to you, we've had tough moments. I think all long relationships have them. But this is exactly where that advice has saved us. When one of us starts feeling like something is wrong, we talk about it. We communicate, not out of anger, but with the intention of fixing it. Because, honestly, letting those feelings build up can destroy even the most beautiful things. Thanks to that reflection, our relationship, now almost 6 years strong, has become even stronger. We're not perfect, of course, but we know that maintaining a good relationship is constant work. It's not about letting everything flow without effort, but about taking care of what you have, being mindful of the other person, and not taking things for granted. So, if that therapist happens to read this one day, thank you for sharing this. Your advice changed our perspective and helped us reinforce something we value immensely. Now I can confidently say that we're better than ever. Smiling face with smiling eyes.
The moment you stop fighting. Imagine this. You've had the same argument over and over about something that's crucial to you, but completely irrelevant to them. It's like a never-ending cycle, an endless loop of words, explanations, complaints, and broken promises. You've tried everything. You've explained your side 1,000 times, tried to find a solution, asked for understanding, even when you knew deep down they'd never truly get it. Everything you've said, everything you've tried, it all seems to vanish into thin air, like shouting into an empty void. Then, one day, it happens. You're having that same argument once again. But this time, something feels different. This time, when you look at them, you don't feel a thing. No anger. No frustration. No desperate need for them to finally understand. You don't even feel drained. It's like you've suddenly become numb. They've turned into a complete stranger you've just spotted crossing the street, someone who might as well be walking on another planet. And then, in a moment of clarity, a question hits you like a ton of bricks. Who is this person really? It's such a simple question, yet so profound, it seems to shatter everything you thought you knew. And in that instant, the argument loses all meaning. The fight, the need to be heard, to fix things, none of it matters. All you're thinking now is, why am I even here? Why am I still wasting my time on this? How do I get them out of my life? It's terrifying, that realization. Because at the core of that question, you realize you're no longer looking for a solution, no longer trying to be understood. You're just trying to figure out how to escape, how to get away from something that, in that moment, no longer matters to you. And the worst part? You come to the chilling conclusion that the problem isn't that they didn't get it. The problem is, you've stopped getting them.
The love that outlives time. You know, life has a way of pushing us through things we never expect. Some of those things leave scars, and some leave a mark so deep that no matter how much time passes, it stays with you. One of those things, perhaps one of the hardest to deal with, is the loss of someone you loved with all your heart. Now, here's something not many talk about, but it's real, and it happens. Some people choose to continue honoring their relationship with a partner who's passed, not because they can't move on, but because they've made peace with their grief. They've accepted the loss, and they've decided that no one, no new person, will ever compare to the love they once shared. And you know what? That's okay. In fact, it's something to admire. We live in a world where, often, people are expected to move on quickly. They tell you to find someone new, to start dating again, to get over it. But there are some people who, after losing their partner, make the decision to not search for a new relationship. They don't go on dates. They don't remarry. And it's not because they can't. It's because they simply don't want to. They've come to terms with their loss, and in doing so, they've realized that nothing, absolutely nothing, could ever replace what they had. Now, don't get this twisted. Just because they aren't out there looking for someone new doesn't mean they haven't moved on. It doesn't mean they're stuck in the past or need help. No, what it means is they've found a kind of peace that many of us might never fully understand. They've accepted that the love they shared was unique, irreplaceable. And rather than try to recreate that with someone else, they've chosen to keep it alive in their own way, by holding on to those memories, cherishing them, and living with the beauty of what once was. And I find that kind of strength admirable. Because let's be real, how many of us would be willing to just sit with those memories, to not try and fill the void with something else? How many of us would have the courage to say, I've had my love, and it was enough? It's not about being stuck. It's about honoring something that was so special that no time, no amount of new experiences could ever compare. Some people don't need to move on in the traditional sense. They've already found their peace. And sometimes that peace doesn't need anyone else to validate it. Think about it. Imagine you've had the most profound, the most beautiful love in your life. And yes, that person is gone. But rather than rush into something new, you decide to keep the essence of that love alive. You're not waiting for someone to replace them. You're not looking for a second chance. You're simply content with what you had, knowing that it was one of the greatest things you'll ever experience. That's powerful. So, if you ever meet someone who has made the decision not to search for another partner after losing their loved one, don't judge them. Don't rush them to move on. Understand that they're not stuck in the past. They've chosen a different path, one where they honor their lost love, hold on to their memories, and carry them forward. And in my book, that's a choice worth respecting. Some people's love stories don't end with a happily ever after in the traditional sense. But that doesn't mean they didn't have one hell of a story. And sometimes that's all we really need.